August 1948. John Wayne finished filming Red River and wrote a letter to his 4 children confessing something he'd never said out loud. He sealed it, locked it in his personal safe, and kept it there for 31 years. What his children discovered after his death would explain every father role he played for the rest of his life. Here is the story. Hollywood, California, August 1948. Red River has wrapped. 4 months of filming in Arizona, the most brutal role John Wayne has ever played. Thomas Dunson, cattle baron, obsessive, tyrannical, a man who drives his adopted son away through sheer cruelty, a father figure who destroys everything he touches, the darkest character Wayne has ever inhabited, and the one that haunts him most. He's home now, Newport Beach, big house, empty house. His wife Chata is in Mexico visiting family. His 4 children, Michael, Tony, Patrick, Melinda, are with his ex-wife Josephine. He has the house to himself. He should feel relieved. Instead, he feels hollow. It's 11 p.m. Wayne sits in his study, whiskey glass in hand. 3rd drink, maybe 4th. He's not counting. On his desk, a script for his next film. He should be reading it, preparing, moving forward. Instead, he keeps thinking about Thomas Dunson, the character who felt too familiar, the mirror he didn't want to look into. According to Patrick Wayne, who shared this story in a 2001 interview, his father spent that entire night alone in his study, writing, stopping, writing again. "We didn't know about the letter until after he died," Patrick said. "But when we read it, we understood. Red River broke something open in him, made him see what he'd been avoiding." Wayne pulls out a sheet of paper, personal stationery, picks up his pen, stares at the blank page for 10 minutes, then starts writing. His handwriting is usually bold, confident. Tonight, it's shaky, uncertain. The words come slowly, painfully, like pulling splinters from under skin. He writes for 2 hours, crosses out lines, starts over, finally gets it down to what needs to be said. He reads it once, folds it, seals it in an envelope, writes on the front, "To my children, Duke, August 1948. Then he stops. His hand hovers over the envelope. He should mail this, should give it to Josephine to read to the kids, should do something. But shame is a weight, and some weights don't lift just because you acknowledge them. He opens his personal safe, the small one in his study that only he has the combination to, puts the letter inside, closes it. "Tomorrow," he tells himself. "I'll send it tomorrow." Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. The letter stays in the safe, sealed, unread, for 31 years. What was in that letter? According to Wayne's children, who read it together in 1979, their father had written something he could never say out loud. A confession, an apology, a recognition of failure that cut deeper than any role he'd ever played. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, we need to understand what happened during Red River. Why that film, of all the dozens Wayne had made, shattered something in him. The character of Thomas Dunson is a cattle rancher who becomes increasingly authoritarian and cruel. He drives thousands of cattle from Texas to Missouri, but his obsession with control destroys his relationship with his adopted son Matthew, played by Montgomery Clift. There's a scene where Dunson tells Matthew, "Every time you turn around, expect to see me, because I'll be coming." It's a threat, a promise of relentless pursuit. The words of a father who has become a monster. Wayne delivered that line 43 times during filming. Director Howard Hawks kept pushing for more intensity, more rage, more barely contained violence. By take 43, Wayne wasn't acting anymore. He was channeling something real, something he'd been carrying for years, his own relationship with his children, his 3 failed marriages, his constant absence, his choice of career over family, again and again and again. Thomas Dunson was a mirror, and Wayne finally saw himself clearly. According to his daughter Isa, who Wayne later confided in, "Dad said Red River was the hardest film he ever made. Not because of the stunts or the heat, because Dunson reminded him of everything he hated about himself." The film wrapped in August. Wayne went home and wrote the letter. Have you ever seen yourself clearly for the first time and realized you don't like what you see? That moment of recognition changes everything, if you let it. The letter stayed in the safe. But Wayne couldn't unsee what Red River had shown him. Over the next 31 years, something shifted in his work. His later films, particularly his father figure roles, became different, softer, more vulnerable, like he was working something out on screen that he couldn't fix in real life. True Grit in 1969, playing Rooster Cogburn, a flawed man trying to protect a young girl. He won his only Oscar for it. The Cowboys in 1972, playing an aging rancher who becomes a father figure to 11 boys, teaching them, protecting them, dying for them. The Shootist in 1976, his final film, playing a dying gunfighter trying to pass wisdom to a young man before it's too late. All father figures, all flawed, all trying to do better than they'd done before. According to Michael Wayne, the oldest son, we'd watch Dad's films and see him play these protective, caring fathers. Then he'd come home and be distant, working, absent. It was confusing. We didn't understand he was trying to be those men on screen because he couldn't be them at home. But Wayne's children didn't know about the letter, didn't know their father had written down his guilt and locked it away. They just knew their father was complicated, present and absent, loving and distant, a hero to millions, but often unavailable to his own kids. That's how it stayed. For decades, Wayne working, the children growing up, the letters sealed in the safe, a secret shame he carried alone. June 11, 1979, John Wayne dies, stomach cancer, age 72. His 7 children gather at his home in Newport Beach to handle his affairs. Patrick Wayne is going through his father's study, sorting papers, organizing files, trying to make sense of decades of documents. He finds the safe, the small personal one, tries the combination his mother had written down. It opens. Inside, important documents, deeds, contracts, legal papers, and one sealed envelope, old, yellowed, handwriting on the front. To my children, Duke, August 1948. Patrick's hands shake. 31 years ago. He was 9 years old in 1948. Now he's 40. He doesn't open it, not yet. Not without his siblings. He calls Michael, Tony, Melinda. Dad left us something. We need to read it together. They gather 2 days later, the 4 of them in their father's study, the envelope on the desk between them. Michael, as the oldest, opens it, pulls out 2 sheets of paper covered in their father's handwriting, shaky, uncertain, not his usual bold script. He reads it aloud. According to Patrick's account, the letter said, "Michael, Tony, Patrick, Melinda, I've been a bad father. I know that. You know that. Choosing work over being home, choosing movies over your birthdays, your school plays, your lives. You deserved better. You deserved a father who was there. Playing Thomas Dunson in Red River showed me something I didn't want to see. That character, obsessive, tyrannical, driving everyone away. That's who I've become. Not as extreme, maybe, but the same man underneath, choosing ambition over love, control over connection, work over family. I am Thomas Dunson, and I hate what I see. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe I can't. The damage is done. You've grown up with an absent father, and I can't give you those years back. All I can do is ask you to forgive me, and to be better than I was. When you have children, be there, be present. Show up for the small moments, not just the big ones. Don't make my mistakes. Don't wake up one day and realize you've traded everything that matters for a career that doesn't love you back. I'm sorry, I should say this to your faces, but I'm too ashamed, too much of a coward. So I'm writing it down, hoping that somehow these words can carry what I can't say out loud. I love you. I failed you. Both things are true. Your father, Duke. The 4 of them sit in silence. Tony is crying. Michael's jaw is tight. Patrick stares at the letter. Melinda can't speak. Finally, Michael says, "He wrote this 31 years ago, kept it locked up, never sent it." "Why?" Tony asks. "Why write it and not send it?" Patrick understands. Because he was ashamed, and because saying it out loud makes it real. This way he could acknowledge it without having to face us. "That's not fair," Melinda says. "We deserve to hear this, to talk about it, to maybe fix things." "He couldn't," Patrick says quietly. "This is who Dad was. Strong enough to write it, not strong enough to mail it." They sit with that truth. the letter in Michael's hands. 31 years of sealed confession between them and their father. Should we be angry? Tony asks. Michael thinks. I was. Growing up, I was furious at him. But reading this, he looks at the letter. He knew. He saw it. He just didn't know how to change it. His films changed, Patrick says. After Red River, all those father roles, Rooster Cogburn, the Cowboys, the Shootist, he was working it out on screen. Because he couldn't work it out at home, Melinda finishes. They agree not to make the letter public, not to donate it to a museum or share it with biographers. This is family, private, sacred. But decades later, Patrick would share the story, not the exact words, but the essence, in an interview. My father died the next morning after we were all there with him, Patrick said in 2001. But I forgave him in that study, reading his letter. Not because he deserved forgiveness, because I needed to let go of the anger, and because I understood, finally, that he'd been trying, just in the only way he knew how, through his work. The letter stayed with the family. Each sibling kept a copy, original with Michael, the oldest, and they did what their father asked. They were better parents. They showed up. They didn't repeat his mistakes. Michael Wayne had 5 children. He rarely traveled for work, coached Little League, attended every school event. Patrick Wayne had 2 children. He turned down film roles if they conflicted with family time. Duke taught me what not to do, he'd say. That's a gift, too. Tony and Melinda raised their children with presence, with attention, with the understanding that careers end, but family is permanent. The letter, sealed for 31 years, opened in grief, kept private in respect, became a roadmap for what not to do. A ghost teaching future generations by showing them his regrets. Today, Wayne's grandchildren know the story. Not the exact words, those stay with the siblings, but the essence. Your great-grandfather was John Wayne, movie star, American icon, but he was also a man who failed his children and knew it. He wrote them a letter confessing everything, but he was too ashamed to send it. And then the lesson. Don't let shame stop you from saying what needs to be said. Don't let career matter more than family. Don't wait 31 years to apologize. Some grandchildren have the story written down. Others heard it orally, passed from parent to child like all important family truths. But they all carry it. The weight of Thomas Dunson, the sealed letter, the grandfather who was strong enough to see his failures, but not strong enough to speak them. According to Patrick's final interview about his father, he said this: "People ask me what John Wayne was really like. I tell them, he was human, deeply flawed. He knew it, hated it, tried to fix it through his films because he couldn't fix it in real life. That letter proved it. He saw everything clearly, just couldn't act on it." Then Patrick added, "But you know what? I'm grateful for that letter, because it taught me the most important lesson. Don't be your father. Learn from his regrets. Be present. Say the words out loud while you still can." What words are you carrying that need to be said? What letter are you keeping sealed that deserves to be opened? The difference between regret and redemption is often just one conversation. The letter remains with Wayne's family, sealed from the public, but its lesson has spread through 4 generations. Don't let work consume you. Don't let shame silence you. Don't write letters you're too afraid to send. Say it now. Fix it now. Be present now. Because 31 years in a safe doesn't heal anything. It just delays the pain. John Wayne played heroes his entire career, but his greatest act wasn't on screen. It was admitting, on paper, in private, that he'd failed the people who mattered most. That honesty, even locked away, was more courageous than any role he ever played. And unfortunately, they don't make men like John Wayne anymore.